Hello friends, so pretty recently I interviewed for the position of Solutions Architect. I received the offer and I have already accepted the offer with the company. Plus I have been working with them for close to a month now and it has been a wonderful experience. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the very first conversation to the point I received the offer, and I'm going to talk about the whole journey. So without any delay, let's get started. So the company I interviewed at was Cineplex. They are the largest movie theater company in the Canada. They have about 170 different locations and there are a lot of awesome perks working at Cineplex. I get to watch all the free movies. I get to eat a lot of popcorn because they actually serve popcorn at our head office, and I get all these cool movie posters. So you must be seeing a lot of different movie posters in my upcoming videos. Now let's get started with the interviews. So in total I had 4 rounds of interviews, and first round of interview was a conversation with the recruiter. Now the thing is, for this particular role, for the solutions architect role, actually I was referred to Cineplex by my ex co-worker at Microsoft, and recruiter reached out and recruiter be like, we already know that you are interested in the role, you are being referred by a very good person. So I was guaranteed to have an interview. The only discussion I had with the recruiter was like what my back-end experience has been, what kind of companies I worked at, why am I looking for a new job, and what the role is, what are they expecting, and stuff like that. So first round was pretty easy. It was a very light-hearted conversation, and that brings me to the second round. That was actually a technical discussion. I wouldn't say technical interview, but more like technical discussion with the actual hiring manager. And that lasted about 45 to 50 minutes. I found out that during the discussion, it wasn't actually anything like an interview. We were just talking about different technology, what my manager has worked in his past, what kind of issues they are facing currently at Cineplex, what kind of technical challenges are there, what my experience has been. It was just very simple conversation and mostly completely based on like tech, but nothing was like surprising random questions that, hey, tell me about data structure, or tell me about this SQL query or SQL join. Nothing like that. It was mostly focused on the vast array of technical aspects and what is my approach is to facing the challenges. So that the whole conversation I actually find really intriguing, and for sure it was a really good experience. After the second round of interview, I somewhat got the feeling that I might get a call for the next round of interview because the interview went really well. And that brings us to the third round of interview. That was going to be sort of like the main interview that is going to decide that whether I will get the job or not get the job. Now this interview actually happened in person or at their Cineplex office. It was going to be a panel interview with 4 different people. Out of 4 people, one was my hiring manager, other 2 were senior architects who are currently part of my team, and there was one more director of software engineering team who leads like a lot of developers and does most of the development work for many different Cineplex products. So it was a tech heavy discussion with like system design component as the center of it. The good thing about it is that they actually asked me the specific question about the challenge that they are facing. That, hey, we have this old existing on-premise system and we have this kind of system that has been built upon, and now we are trying to migrate it to cloud, but migrating contains these many challenges. It has like 10 different components that are not related to it, but we cannot get rid of it because of these existing dependencies. And then there are some issues with migrating the data because amount of data is huge. And number 2, there are some issues with like synchronization and encryption and all the different things. Now I'm not going to tell you the exact specific scenario, but the thing is, basically they just asked me that, hey, this is the problem we have. If you get hired, you are basically going to be working to fixing this. What would your approach be to fix that? And the thing is, honestly, I was not able to give completely justifiable answer. Like I gave the basic scenario that, hey, if you want to migrate services from on-premises to cloud, this should be your approach. Maybe you can go for domain-driven development. You can separate the functionality based on the business logic and try to have loosely coupled services that are not interdependent on each other, and all the normal like best practices kind of the stuff. But the thing is, their challenge was actually very peculiar. And I was not able to come up with the exact solution for their challenge. I was in the vicinity of the solution or the expected like ideal case scenario, but not the exact approach. And I really wanted that job. Like because the thing is, after speaking with hiring manager, I was really impressed. After meeting the team, I was even more impressed. Like they all seem pretty nice people, and based on like some past experiences I had in the past where I got laid off from a couple of places and stuff like that, it was pretty nasty and took a toll on my personal self. And then I realized that though Cineplex was like a movie theater company, despite being a movie theater company, they were completely shut down. Still, they did not lay off a lot of their employees, even where their revenues were completely like in negative. Still, they kept people on the payroll and they kept paying them salaries and make sure that they are well taken care of. So that basically tells you something about the ethics of the company, and I basically get the good feeling that at least they did that for their employees. Meanwhile, we see a lot of news these days, like all these massive companies, and they are making billions of dollars and still they're laying off people left and right. And of course they have their own business reasons, but still it takes a very tough toll on someone who has a lot of people dependent on them if that person gets laid off. And because I experienced this, so I was able to relate. So coming back to the interview, basically I had very good feeling from Cineplex, and I really wanted to make sure that I get the job. So I was, after completing the interview, I was heading home and I was thinking about that, hey, what was the approach? Okay, this was the problem. What could be the potential solutions? How can I find it? Let me go ahead and search it on the internet. Let me see what other people have done. What are the different solutions? And I found like that there are 2-3 different approaches. None of them are like exact 100% fixed scenario, but there are like different options that we can take, and there are trade-offs across each one of them. So what I did was I actually started making a whole video for that particular specific problem that we had discussed earlier in the interview, and I created the video, I posted it on my YouTube channel, I kept it private, and I sent out that link to all the folks I basically interviewed with. And they had actually told me that if we like you, we would give you a call for the last round of interview to meet with our VP, and if we find someone else, then maybe you can expect just like a final decision from us. So next morning, actually after sending out the link, the very next morning I received a call from the recruiter saying that, hey, give me some availability, and VP would like to meet you. And I was like above the moon, because I was like, yeah, this is the final step and I'm very close to getting the job. And actually the same thing happened. Like last call was with the VP of their team, and she had like great experience, of course, and she mentioned, like, she just talked about normal thing, that what kind of person I am, more like behavioral kind of the things, but nothing that were like basically judging me on any aspect. I think they had like a pretty good idea. They had made up their mind, and it was just like for me to meet with the VP and VP to know that, okay, this is the person we are planning to hire. And after that call, like after a couple of days, I received the answer. We negotiated on the salary, and even for the salary negotiation, they asked me that, hey, this is the range we currently have, and what is your expectation? I was like, yeah, basically my hands were tied. Like I was just looking for it. I was in no place for negotiation. I told them very frankly that, hey, currently I have been laid off. I don't have any place to negotiate, nothing like that. But I would feel more obliged if you can understand my situation and do what you feel that is right, because I also don't want to be in position where I might get some resentment because I'm not getting well compensated. And actually they increased their offer from the initial offer. It was a very nice compensation package that is like very fulfilling for my scenario, and I'm pretty happy with that. So overall, throughout the interview process, it was one of the best interviews I had. One of the most unique things I did, that was to create a video solution and send it to the hiring manager, because I really wanted this job. And after joining their team, honestly, everyone is like pretty nice people, very chilled out environment, very good benefits. And yeah, overall, if you are applying for Cineplex, definitely I would highly recommend. Really good place to work at. Sometime in the future I might do a whole office tour so everyone can see it, that what my office looks like. It's actually pretty fun. It looks like a movie theater. So that this was basically my experience with interview for the solutions architect role with Cineplex. Let me know in the comments if you have any feedback about the video or anything you might like me to change. This was just like a heart to heart conversation, so I kept it like very unscripted and just like said what I was thinking. Okay, so till then, take care.